A big week ahead for the Roughriders as Trevor Harris leads them into the Grey Cup. Hey everyone, Rob Wong, pleased to be joined by Taylor Shire and Darrell Davis of the Regina Leader Post. And as you can see, Taylor joining us from Winnipeg, where the Grey Cup will go this weekend. Nobody on the field just yet, I guess, Taylor, as they're still making their preparations for this game on the weekend. But exciting times with it being the Grey Cup this week. And as we look ahead to this one of the key storylines going in is Riders quarterback Trevor Harris, who is looking for that third Grey Cup, Darrell, but his first as a starting QB at 39 years old. Who knows how many opportunities like this he'll get again. What is your confidence level with Harris going into this one?
Well, he's confident, so I think everybody else is. You know, the football team seems to thrive on him quite a bit. And at 39 years old, he's had one of his healthiest years. He's been accurate as ever. And he does talk about that a lot, Rob. He talks these days quite a bit about not being a starting quarterback and having won a Grey Cup. So I think it's sticking in his craw a little bit, and I think that's extra motivation for a guy who's already motivated.
Yeah, you know what? I've never seen Trevor Harris, especially, since he's joined the Roughriders, where a moment has been too big for him. Whether it's leading the Riders on a game-winning drive in the West Final, that moment was never too big for him. He was poised. During his 6, 7, 8 media scrums that he's already done this week, you can sense that confidence, you can sense that poise, that calmness. And I think he brings that to the entire team, right? Having a veteran as your leader, a guy who's been there, not necessarily one as a starter, like you said, but he's been to the Grey Cup, has that experience, is on the back nine of his career, really wants to get it done. He kind of galvanizes this team, and I think as confident as ever.
Yeah, definitely looking good on that confidence side of things. And Taylor, you wrote about the experience factor this week as far as the Riders go. There's a bunch of guys that have been there before, Harris being one of them, and others that are experiencing it for the first time. Having covered regular season CFL games and Grey Cups myself as a media member, I know just how different everything outside of the game can be at this time of year. There's obviously going to be an adjustment for the players as well. How much of a factor do you think this will be for the first-timers?
Well, when Jeremy O'Day and Corey Mace entered free agency a couple of years ago, that's what they talked about, is getting players with championship pedigree. That means having either been to the championship or won to the championship. Think Jamarcus Hardrick, A.J. Ouellette, Jameer Thurman, guys who have been there and done that. So then now they come in and they know the routines. They know what it takes to win. They know what Grey Cup week is like. And I think a lot of them have been passing on that knowledge to these other younger players. Say a guy like A.J. Allen, even Roland Milligan, Sam Emilus, guys who have been in green and white who haven't been to a Grey Cup week before. Now, in saying that, I don't necessarily think the experience helps come Sunday at 5 o'clock when it kicks off. I think it helps a little bit, but I'm going to say the experience helps during the week when you know what to expect. You're pulled in a bunch of different ways. There's distractions. You're out of your routine. How are you going to adjust to that? I think that's where the veteran leadership comes in the most. And when they kick off, it's just a football game. And that's what they all say. And sure, there's more eyeballs and you can say pressure and all that. But that's their time to shine. But it's all the other stuff when they're being pulled around is when they're going to lean on some of that veteran advice to know really what to do and where to go.
Yeah, it truly does get frantic during Grey Cup week. As you know, Taylor, firsthand, right? Even for the media getting pulled in all these different directions, all these things to attend, all these questions to answer. And the guys who have been there before can kind of put it into perspective. It still all has to focus on the game. So in a lot of ways, all they're doing is like a big, long road trip. They know how to prepare. They've played pretty well on the road, the Roughriders have this year. And they have the guys they can fall back on. We hear it a lot, Rob, especially on this team. Taylor and I have talked about it and laughed about it. The love they express for each other, right? That they can talk about things with each other and demand things from each other has made them a really tight-knit football team. And I think that's going to go a long ways with this group. They'll understand each other. Some of them will never have been there and will get really excited, but they'll all understand it. And they'll say, that's okay. That's all part of it. We're all in here together. And I think that's a real good kind of overriding emotion for this football team to get to have, and I think you'll see it all week when you watch them prepare and when you watch them do their interviews. It'll really shine through.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how that all plays out with the camaraderie that they have off the field as they try to bring it on the field, set for the Grey Cup this weekend against the Montreal Alouettes. For Taylor Shire and Darrell Davis, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on the next one.